Hi, I'm Tomek from StorageFreak.net. In today's video I would like to talk about EMC VNX snapshots. I will start with creating a snapshot, then I will simulate the data loss or the data corruption on the loon that has the snapshot created and show you how to retrieve the data from it. Later on I will try to talk a little bit about the Snapshot Mount Point and show you an example how you can use it. So let's get started with the first point. This is my working environment for today. I've got in front of me Windows 2008. When we navigate to computer, you can notice I've got my local hard drive. I'm not gonna touch this one. And I've got my demo drive, which is the one we are going to play with. As you can see right now it's almost completely full, and let's assume it has some database file. This file will get corrupted, but first we have to create a snapshot. I've got here EMC Unisphere session to my EMC VNX. As you can see, I've got the demo LAN, which is 35 GB in size. Let's check it with our Windows host. Yep, that's 35 GB of size. And let's navigate to host and storage groups. I've got two storage groups that I'm gonna play today with. That's the production storage group and the test storage group. Production storage group has one host, which is called production environment. That's actually the Windows host you can see over here. And another one is the test storage group with the test environment host. This one we're going to use later. This one doesn't have any loons connected to it right now. And our production Windows has one loon. That's actually our one demo loon. So let's start with creating the snapshot. It's actually quite easy. All you have to do is find the loon you want to take the snapshot of, right click on it, find the snapshot and create snapshot. Oh, sorry, here. But before you do that, you have to make sure there are no incoming IOs to the drive you would like to take the snapshot of, just to make sure it's consistent. So the best case scenario would be to stop the application that actually is using this drive and even try to unmount the drive from the Windows host. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've got here Windows 2008. Let me just show you how you can quickly do that. Just navigate to Server Manager and Disk Management, find the partition you would like to take the snapshot of. Obviously that's our loon from EMC VNX, and now you have to unmount it. To do it, you can either go to right click, change the drive letter and just remove the drive letter. That's the one way to do it. Another one would be to find the disk and just take it offline. So let's do this one. Now the disk is offline. You can even navigate to the computer and see that it's gone, and now you are sure there are no input-output requests to this drive, so we can safely take the snapshot which will be consistent. So once again, let's navigate to EMC VNX, that's our loon, right click on it, snapshot and create snapshot. Here's the name, which is basically the date stamp. You can actually change it. Let's call it first snap, and that is our first snapshot. Okay, as you can see, creating a snapshot is almost instant. You can just acknowledge the message, and now we can safely mount back the partition. So let's navigate back to the Server Manager, right click on our disk, make it online. Alright, and the partition is back, and now you can turn on the application or the database or whatever is using the data from the partition, right? You can navigate back to EMC Unisphere, Data Protection, Snapshots, and as you can see, our demo loon has one snapshot called the first snapshot. You have the creation time, the information if it's modified or not, that I will discuss later, and it's ready, and that's actually the snapshot. Okay, so let's assume that during the snapshot creation we actually did the upgrade of our software as well, the software that is using this demo data. Let's assume that after the upgrade something went wrong, and actually when we restart the application the file got deleted and the new one was created. Which is empty inside. So basically we lost our data and now we would like to retrieve it back. We can do it with our snapshot. To do so, it is recommended to unmount the disk first. So let's go back to our server manager, to our disk management section, our demo loon, and now let's just remove the ladder. Yes. As you can see, our partition is gone, it's just unmounted, and now we can proceed with retrieving the data from the snapshot. I am already in the good section of EMC Unisphere, but actually to navigate here it's just data protection, snapshots and loon snapshots section. First we have to find the loon you would actually like to restore, and then find the snapshot you would like to restore to, and go with the restore button. Here's the confirmation, and before you restore the snapshot you actually have to, that's done automatically, you'll create a backup snapshot as well, so you can actually later on restore or undo this operation. So let's just leave the backup snapshot name as it is, and let's go with OK. And we've got the information the restore operation has been started successfully. Now you have to monitor how long the restore will take. Once it's ready, the demo loon, or the loon that you actually restored, will be in the ready state. As you can see right here, it's just done almost instantly. So if we look at our snapshots, we've got two right now. One is our first snapshot, or the first snap that we actually restored, and that's the backup snapshot created before the restoration of the first snap. Let's try to mount back the partition, and let's see if we actually got our data back. To do so, because I unmounted it removing the ladder, let's just add the ladder again. Let's just do with F, I think it was F. Let's do the same. Okay, that's done. And if we navigate back to our partition, as you can see, we've got our database file back, which is the full, almost full 35 gigabyte in size. Okay, so that will be the end of the first exercise. What you should remember is how to use snapshots to secure the data from the data corruption or the data loss or any kind of issue with viruses and stuff like that. Okay, but that's not the only feature I'm going to show today. Another one is with the Snapshot Mount Point. The Snapshot Mount Point is a special container which allows you to mount the snapshot of loon to another host. You can actually mount it to the same host, but let's assume, or in most cases, you would probably want to mount it to another host. Now let me first try to explain or give you an example why would you like to do that. Let's say we've got here our demo data with the database file, and that's our production server, right? But let's assume that we've got our new version of the software we would like to test first. As we saw in the first example, the new software actually deleted our file. So we've got newer software, and right now we wouldn't like to actually test it on the production system, we would like to test it in our test environment. To do so, we've got already our demo snapshot created, that's the first snap, and we've got our test environment as well. As you can see in the storage group, we've got our test storage group with our test environment host with actually no loons at all, right? So to attach the snapshot to another host, we have to create kind of container called Snapshot Mount Point. To do so, let's navigate to storage loons. We have to choose the loon we would like to create the container for. In our case, that's our demo loon, right? We have to go the right click, snapshot, and create Snapshot Mount Point. Now you have to give it a name. Let's call it demo SNP. Oh, sorry, not SNMP, but SMP. And to which storage group we would like to attach this Snapshot Mount Point. In our case, that will be our test storage group. Okay, creation is in progress, and now it's completed. Now let me just connect to our test environment to show you the exact progress of this operation. Okay, this one, quite small, but I think that should be good enough. This one is our test environment. We can actually go for the server manager. Storage section and disk management. As you can see, we've got already some unknown disks. Let's try to rescan disks. Okay, after the rescan, we see what we should. That's our one disk 1 with 35 GB in total, which is offline. We even actually cannot make it online right now. The system cannot find the specific file, find the file specified, only because this is the snapshot mounting point or snapshot mount point, which is right now empty. We just created the snapshot mount point, right? Now to do the magic, we actually have to navigate back to the data protection, loon snapshots, find the snapshot we would like to attach. In our case, that will be first snap, and click the attach button. Now we have to select in the wizard to which host we would like to attach this snapshot. We can actually choose our production environment, which will not work only because for this host we didn't create any snapshot mount point. We created it only for the test environment. So to give you an example, let's go with the production env, and if we go next, that's the information that this snapshot is protected. Okay, finish. As you can see, the snapshot attach operation failed only because this host didn't have, or still doesn't have, the snapshot mounting point. Alright, so now let's try to attach the snapshot to the host that actually has this mounting point created, or the mount point. Let's go again with the attach button, choose our test environment. Now here's additional option. We can either attach our first snap, which will be writable, and therefore we could modify it. As you can see here, right now it's not modified, or we can actually create a copy of the point in time snapshot, so basically create another snapshot, just to make sure that we've got our baseline snapshot which is unattached. In our case, we don't have to create another copy, so let's go with the main one. Let's attach it to our test environment, click next. Here is the information that actually once attached the snapshot content may change. That's okay. Here is the summary. Let's finish. And as you can see, the snapshot first snap has been attached successfully to our test environment host. Now we can finish to close the wizard. We can navigate back to our test environment, as you can remember, that's this one, and let's try to rescan the disk again. Now as you can see, we've got already the basic disk 1, which is offline. Let's make it online. Okay, that's our demo disk. Let's navigate to the computer. And as you can see, we see our partition, which is demo, which is basically completely full, with our database file, which is 35 or something like that gigabyte in size. Now we've got our data, which is the exact copy of the moment of the snapshot creation. Now we can actually test our newer version of the software based on the data we have over here, and this will not affect production in any way. Right now most of the data is probably the exact same data on the hard drive, but once we change it, we actually will have two different copies of the data, one from the snapshot which is attached and one from our production system, which is, let's say, constantly changing. For example, let's say we would like to edit the file or even rename it. That's the new version of the file, and if we navigate to our computer, that's the one from the production environment, the file didn't change, right? Because this one, demo on the test environment, is actually the different copy of the same data, or it's actually the data from the snapshot creation moment, point in time. Let's navigate back to the EMC VNX. We've got our demo loon. As you can see, the first snap is modified, so that's not the exact copy of the creation of the first snapshot. We can actually, even from our production environment, unmount the partition and try to restore the first snap again, and then we will see that we have the changes that we did on our test environment. Okay, let me just log out from the test environment because I'm not going to use it anymore today. And let's just navigate back to EMC Unisphere, and we can actually go for the host, storage group, our test storage group, our loons. As you can see, there are none, but we've got the special field of the Snapshot Mount Point, and there's one Snapshot Mount Point called demo SMP, which has actually attached snapshot called the first snap. That's basically it. Now we can, for example, unattach it using the snapshot detach option. Obviously, before you detach the snapshot, make sure there's no input-output request for this partition in our test environment. Okay, snapshot was detached successfully, and that's the functionality I wanted to show you today. So you know what is the VNX snapshot right now, what's the VNX snapshot mount point, how to use it. You've got some basic examples or the test scenarios where the snapshot or SMPs can be very useful, and basically that's what I wanted to show you today. At the end, once again, thank you for watching. All comments or suggestions are most welcome. You can find me on my blog storagefreak.net or just check out my other videos on YouTube.